What is up, Ludi Bros Army? It's your boy, Big Bro Lamar Ludi, and I'm sitting down to check out my fantasy at the end of week number 4. My fantasy basketball league that I've been playing in. If you've been watching the videos on the channel, then you'll know that I was coming into this week with a 1-2 record, and I was facing off against an undefeated team. But before we get into the matchup of the week, check out the day by day and how everything broke down. Make sure you've got that notification bell turned on. More important than that, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so that you can keep getting this content shipped out to you guys. I'm coming to you guys weekly, checking out the matchups in this fantasy basketball season. It's been an exciting run so far, and at the end of week number 4, I'm now 2-2. After these games, all the games finish up tonight, but everybody has finished playing for myself and for my opponent. And you'll see here, I'm up 1385 to 1144. So this on-top thrower that I was playing, he was 3-0 coming into this week. I'm sitting here at 1-2, third in the West, and I was able to get the win. That's going to move me up a little bit on the rankings. So if we check out our breakdown for the week, we'll see that he jumped out to an early lead and thought that he was going to have this thing wrapped up. And I slowly started picking away at him. Here we are on November 10th. That's when I had a huge night. I went 418 points to 241. And from there, I was able to pretty much maintain with another big night on the 12th, getting me 329 points. I was able to just really make it so that it wasn't close over the course of the week. Now, this guy has Nikola Jokic playing for him. He's got the Joker, and the Joker fought as hard as he could this week. But it really wasn't enough because my team finally started to round into form. You'll see James Harden dropped 46 tonight. Jrue Holiday also had a big week. He dropped 40 for me tonight. Draymond Green was consistent all week long. He had 35 tonight. This is the breakdown from tonight's games. We have Terry Rozier. He dropped 33 for me. Josh Giddey, who was a late addition for me last week, he chipped in 11 points tonight, and Christian Wood was solid with his 20 points. I'm still waiting on Zion Williamson. He's on injured reserve. He should be back hopefully in about a month. But we were able to go ahead and step up this week and get some good value out of my team. Like I said in the previous video, as long as we got healthy, that we were going to be a force to be reckoned with, and it looks like that's really starting to hold true. So we can go ahead and let's check out my roster for the week. What a player that I want to go ahead and check out is James Harden, because he's starting to average some more points. And if we look back over how he played these last 5 games, he had 46 points for me tonight, but he dropped 70 for me on the 12th. And that was one of those nights, if you remember, that I had a pretty big showing. He dropped 70 for me on this night, 47 here, and he dropped 52 at the start of the week. So his last 5 games, a very solid showing for James Harden. It looks like he's starting to round into form. He's starting to figure out how the referees are officiating him. He had 201 fantasy points for the last 7 days, and that's this week that we were matched up. So that is something that I'm really, really happy to see happening, because he was my first pick of the draft. Anthony Edwards was my second pick of the draft, and let's check him out because he's also been playing very well. He chipped in for the last 7 days. He had 142 points. He had an off night against the Lakers, but look at this. Against Golden State Warriors, he dropped 69 points with 40 points the game before that against Memphis. So solid numbers. The games that he played in this week are starting here on the 8th and moving up to the 13th. So I'm getting some solid production out of Anthony Edwards. I had to make some moves. In fantasy, you have to make moves. And one of the moves that I made along the way was Mo Bamba. I believe I picked him up in week 2, and he has been so solid. The last 7 days, he had 127 points. For this week, he played just 3 games, but look at this. Over the course of those 3 games, 45 points, 36 points, and then follow that up with another 46 points. 14 points, 17 rebounds. That's the in-game, stats. But the fantasy value is just really, he's producing so much. Mo Bamba, a nice young player. Now, the move that I made, this last move that I made, was to add Gary Trent Jr., and he came in and he's been effective. He's got 125 fantasy points in the last 7 days, and starting from the 7th, he chipped in 21, then 20, and just got better and better with 39, and then rounding out the week with 45 points. So really just coming in off of waivers for me and really helping out the team. I didn't have Jaylen Brown this week. He's out with a hamstring injury, and Zion Williamson's still out with that foot. But Jrue Holiday got healthy, And that is a big addition because Giannis was out and so was Chris Middleton. So he got much more of a workload. And you can see here, starting from the 7th, the Milwaukee Bucks had a brutal schedule in that 7 days, 5 games in 7 days. 25 points, both each game getting better and better. 25 fantasy points, 33, following that up with 36, culminating in a 43-point production against Boston, which Boston won that game. So that's my team pulling out the win, and then getting another 40 points worth of fantasy against Atlanta. So he's starting to really round into form and contribute. And that's what I really needed as we got into the season. Here we are about a month in, is these guys starting to get healthy, starting to produce more. And I really think that was the reason why I did fumble those first 2 games. But now you see me starting to really put some pressure on my opponents. 1385, I think, was the 3rd highest score in the week. Let's check the standings. Well, when you check the standings right now, and like I said, the Sunday officially hasn't ended, so that's why you're still seeing me here at 1-2. But my playoff probability is starting to go up as my team is getting healthier and I'm starting to put together some wins. I think I was sitting at a pretty low, maybe 11 or something like that percent, and it went up to 19% last week. Now I'm up to 26%. If I can get another win, then that's going to help me get a little bit higher here on the playoff percentage with an opportunity to go in and play in the playoffs. Okay, so when you look at the season stats, here I am at 2174, which is about middle of the pack. There's some teams with less fantasy points than me. Here's the Respectful Shooter with 1850. Here's Team Doodles, 1932. But I dropped the game against Team Doodles, and I also dropped the game against Team Titus, and he's at 2031. So I was able to produce more fantasy points. And like I said, as my team's been getting healthy, and I've made a few moves here, you'll see that I'm at 6. Then that's going to start, I think it's going to start producing some wins for me and helping me knock off some teams. So fantasy has been very fun so far. Going back to my team, fantasy has been so fun so far. Like I said, this is week number 4. I've picked up that 2nd win, and I'm looking forward for my next matchup to try and get 3 games in a row and see if I can move up in the rankings. All right, well, thank you guys for tuning into this video, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you for watching.